Deep Sports Talk broadcast is brought to you by Physical Therapy U. For more information, they can be reached at ptuclinic.com. Adria's Restaurant Banquet Facility of East Bridgewater. Their website is adriasrestaurant.net for all of your restaurant and banquet needs. Megan Chase of Kim West Real Estate. Her contact information is 774-240-7707 for all of your real estate needs.
I apologize. I was multitasking, so I'm trying to film this for local Foxboro Access TV, and everybody else saw me jumping around with my head, everywhere. But Coach, it's good to hear your voice again. I know we had you guys in a couple of years ago, and that was the time we had Fox 25 came in. That was pretty cool.
Yep, that was nice. I was there with Ashley Sampson and Shannon Smalley that year.
That's true. So for people who have been living in the proverbial rock, who don't really follow girls basketball, this is how the season played out and I'm just gonna brag, if you guys don't mind.
Oh, sure.
So thank you. So the season started, of course, referring to girls basketball over at Foxboro, the Lady Warriors. So they started this season. This was the run, Coach. If this is wrong, we're gonna blame Max Prep. So they started on the road with a 65-34 win over Mansfield. Then they were on the road again against Canton, beat Canton 65-33, beat Taunton at home 72-36, conquered Carlisle 65-21, Canton, again, another away game, according to this roster, the results here, I'm sorry, 65-33, Milford at home, 86-14 at Oliver Ames, 54-39 at Stoughton, 79-39, hosted Attleboro, 65-44, hosted Sharon, 66-24, hosted the Fee, 61-49. These are all wins. The only time they had now someone must have been sick because you lost to Franklin. I'm kidding, of course. Franklin's a good team. They lost to them 61-40, and then you guys went on a tangent and you went absolutely crazy the rest of the way, according to my results, at North Attleboro, 61-33. Hosted King Philip, 69-48. Hosted Canton, 55-47. At Milford, 44-14. Yikes. Hosted Stoughton, 67-31. At Sharon, 51-28. At Walpole, 59-52. Hosted North Attleboro, 77-55. Hosted Dighton Rehoboth. Of course, a non-league game, 54-27. Another non-league game, beat Pembroke, 56-43. Then the playoffs start. I think that's the playoffs, yeah. Rochester, 40.
Yes, actually started with Dighton Rehoboth.
Okay, so I back up. So there's the first win. So we're in bracket play now. I apologize. Thank you. So that win was against Pembroke, was a conference play, beat Rochester, 46-59. And I get to flip over the pages here because I don't have an intern. And then beat Hingham 57-50. That's a good game. And then basically won the state title with a 52-35 win over North Reading. So we'll start with Caitlin. And then, Coach, I wanted to get your thoughts as far as the season ending. I mean, it had to because of what's going on, which makes sense. But what was your mindset? Do you think they could have played, or are you happy and is the school happy the way they stopped it?
So we were actually at practice when we heard the news. Coach got a phone call, and it was super devastating, just because the game was 2 days ahead of the day we were at the gym. And, I totally wish we were able to play that game. We were studying them, watched film, and I was super confident in that in us. So it was super devastating. But looking at it now, I mean, we're still considered state champions, so I guess it's okay.
Okay, what about you, Coach?
It was tough. I mean, we had just come off a win at the Boston Garden the night before when we found out, like Caitlin said, at practice the next day. And at that point, we really didn't know the scope of this whole COVID thing. So in my mind and clearly in the girls' minds, we thought we should have been able to play. Because it was 48 hours after the fact that we got the news that we were going to be playing. And so even if we had played maybe with no fans in the stands, we were thinking that would have maybe been, at that time, we were thinking that was probably a more logical decision. But now looking back at, how badly this whole COVID thing turned out, it was, most likely it was the best decision that could have been made at the time. But it was definitely it was a hard pill for the girls and myself to swallow.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you guys were on a run, and these girls definitely like. Coach, you know what? To your credit, and again, I'm bragging about you because I had the pleasure of meeting you. You seem like a nice person. You all around nice person. You really devote yourself to the school and to the girls basketball program. And I could, the competitor in you, and of course, Caitlin probably also is that. Why couldn't they have a plan B? I mean, I guess it's the safest thing to do, but like you said, if they had nobody in there, but I guess nobody would really know what would happen, and I guess better to be safe than sorry when, push comes to shove, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's easy to, at that time, just point fingers and, shift a lot of the blame to the powers that be that are making the decisions that we think there could have been other decisions made at that time, but again, we didn't really understand how badly this overarching COVID was, and luckily we had actually already had our banquet scheduled for the Sunday after we found out. It actually would have been the day after we played in the state championship, and we still went ahead and had that our end of year banquet, which was kind of a nice thing. I really wanted the girls to have some form of control over what was going on in their lives when everything seemed like it was swirling out of control, and we just had, a good opportunity to get together and just share some laughs and have fun, because, we were so heartbroken on Thursday, and then, just for 3 days later to get together, that was I thought, very important for us.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the playoffs, and I don't know if, Kayla, I don't know if Coach told you, but if she does remember, we jump around a lot, especially me, because I'm going to see something and something. Oh, that's pretty cool. I could ask you guys about that question. So I'm apologizing in advance. We're coming up actually on our first break, but I wanted to read an article. Maybe I'll wait till we come back. A friend of mine, he was an intern over at he works for Channel 7 now, Nate Rollins. He was doing an internship at the Boston Globe. And he wrote a nice story about just the presence you have on the court and the way you lead this ball team. And I want to get back to this. This was your sophomore year, and how they had, at the time, they had the girls' basketball team ranked 8th in the top 20. But just a nice story about you, and, you seem like a very nice person. The short time I talked to you, Coach bragged about you when I had a chance to talk to her. In the brief time I was bugging her, thank God she didn't hang up the phone on me. But that's just another story for another day. But I do also want to touch, when we come back from the break, the 4 seniors, Coach, that you lost. You gave me some excellent write-ups. There's a 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah, 4 starters.
Yep. I want to talk about them if we can. Read the write-up. Thank you very much for getting back to me with the info. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem.
So we're getting ready to take our first break. And when we come back, I'm going to get to the story about Caitlin from my friend from the Boston Globe. And, of course, the 4 seniors. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station. 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. You can go to our Facebook page, actually 4 words, 4 Deep Sports Talk. We have the privilege of highlighting the 2000 Division II, 2019, 2020, make sure I get my years right. The Division II co-state champions, the Lady Warriors from Foxboro High School. We'll be back with more right after this. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We have the privilege of having head coach Lisa Downs and Caitlin Malika. Caitlin, I got it right?
Malika.
Malika. You know what it is, Coach? I'm Italian, so I'm pronouncing that I wrong.
It's okay.
Oh, my God. All right, so anyway, I wanted to get to a great article. This was your sophomore year. And again, this is my friend Nate Rollins, who was doing an internship at the Boston Globe. I don't know if you remember him. At the time, they had you guys ranked in the top 20, probably too low anyway. But basically, he wrote, she runs the point, she controls the offense, she demands the opponent's best defender, and scores 19 points per game, and that is your sophomore year. Talk about, and right now, Coach, what do you have? 1195, right? Does that sound right?
Correct.
11, only 1195. Oh my God, she's a first round draft pick in everybody's eyes. So let me see. Of course, at the time you're 10-1. We'll make sure I get some of the strong points. Of course, Coach, they talk about you and your perspective on this young sophomore superstar, which you've probably read 1,000 times. But overall, I mean, this is really, really nice. I get you actually sent it out to me. I know he's expecting me to read the whole thing, but I got so many other questions I wanted to talk about, and I really want to dive into your seniors, and we'll start with, if you can just give your comment, Coach, and then I'll read what you wrote, if that's okay.
Sure.
So we'll start with is it Shakira? How do you pronounce the last name? Katan. Okay.
Katan.
Yep. Your center.
Yep. So she was a starter this year. So it was Caitlin Malika, she's a junior right now. Well, she's going to be a rising senior next year. But so Caitlin, and then Shakira was our center. She's going to be playing next year at Emmanuel College. But she, as a junior, didn't start last year, but she was definitely coming into her own toward the end of the season. And, you could see that she was going to be an impact player this year, and she definitely did not disappoint.
Okay, thank you. And let me see, I have it right here, all Hawkmark team this year, 272 points this season. Wow, averaging just under 11 points per game. She was not only the second leading scorer on the team, but she hit 47% 47%, she had 224 rebounds and also 29 blocks in her win in the Garden against North Reading. She had 16.17 rebounds. Now, how about Abby?
So Abby had been on varsity since her freshman year. So she was one of, just Caitlin and Abby were the two players that got playing time in our 2018 state championship team. So Abby was familiar with what it takes in order to get a good, the good team chemistry that's definitely a requirement in order for the team to advance, not just in the season, but then in postseason. So she was a fantastic rebounder. She would just come out of nowhere and just, be able to use her body in a way that made her appear that she was much taller than she is. She's only about 5'9", but she was just fantastic on the boards. But she just wants someone that kind of would slide under the radar, but just do all the little things that needed to be done out there.
All right, so she's on her way to Northeastern University. Congratulations, Abby. Abby scored 148 points, and more importantly, averaged almost 8 rebounds per game. She scored 10 points and 9 rebounds in the Garden win. Now, what about Liz Davis?
So Lizzie was, she was brought up for our 2018 state championship team. I don't think she got playing time that year, but just this year she had to step up so we could take some of the pressure off Caitlin. So she would kind of share the responsibility of bringing the ball up so that we could get Caitlin off the ball a little bit more. But she really came on offensively this year. She was able to hit a lot of, her favorite shot was like a three just from the top of the key. But she just made things happen, especially when her and Caitlin were out there working the court together. But defensively, she was also a stud. We could put her on some of the best guards out there, and she would really focus on just, making sure that the person she was supposed to be keeping down in points, she really did that. And she really held herself to some high standards defensively.
Continuing Nicely said. Continuing on, she averaged 10.3 points per game, including 32 three-pointers. Wow. Many of these coming at a very clutch time. She also led the team in assists with 3.2 per game. She's a huge defensive threat, which you just mentioned. So many things set her apart from the other guards. She averaged, again, 3.2 rebounds per game, 3 deflections, and 4 steals per game. Wow, that's pretty good. And the other young
Yeah.
lady is Yara.
Yep, Yara Fawaz. So she's also a forward, but she has length that is incredible. So she has some great foot speed. She's also about 5'9", but we had her one game in particular. So we were playing Hingham in the state semifinals, and they're a very, very good team. And their best player is Dennis, and she's about 5 feet tall and averages almost 20 points per game. So I put Yara, who's 5'9", on Dennis and held her to 5 points in that game. Um, so, and one of those was a 3-point shot, and the other two were just from the free throw line. So she kind of does all that, like I mentioned about Abby. She does all the little things that, unless you're really paying attention and you really know your basketball, you really wouldn't pick up on. But the amount of the defensive tenacity she has out on the court, paired with some strong inside presence and rebounding and some strong post moves, made her a really, really tough matchup for the opponent.
And she's a two-way player. It says here she's on her way to play soccer at Stonehill.
Yes.
So what? She doesn't like basketball no more?
I think she would have played basketball anywhere too, but
Yeah,
soccer won her over at Stonehill, yes.
good. She averaged 7 points per game, 2.4 assists, just under 7 rebounds, 2.9 steals, 2.1 deflections, and only 2 fouls committed per game. Wow, that's really cool, Coach. Thank you very much for sending that over. You made me sound smart. All right, Caitlin, you ready?
Yep.
All right, thank you, young lady. Before we get actually, time's flying by. So, what advice, or as far as work ethic, do you need? If you could tell, well, I hope you tell the young kids about getting ready to play for Coach Downs and this Foxboro girls basketball team.
Every player should just be expected to be held to a high standard, and every day at practice, everyone's putting their best effort forth, doing 110% every day, and it's just super important to always be working on your game, whether it's just taking 100 shots a day or ball handling. Just little things like that will just help you so much to play at that quicker and faster level at high school.
Very good. So, was there anything in particular you wanted to work on that you were worried about coming into this junior year?
Yeah. So, luckily, my freshman year, I was super blessed to be given the opportunity to play with such talented players. It was such a great senior class, and I was able to um, I was able to be taught by such excellent players and some set great role models. So going into sophomore year, I was able, 4 great seniors graduated. So everyone thought it would be kind of rebuilding year, but we turned it into, another special season. And coming to junior year, it was kind of like the same expectations. Just from the beginning of the season, we just had a goal of making it to the state championship again. It was just such a great feeling, and we knew we could get there. As the season started going on, we were just getting more focused and more determined, and we knew that this year we could accomplish it. So, yeah.
So, do you think that puts a lot more pressure on you? How do you feel
um,
about that coming into your senior year?
so people might look at it again and like think that we graduated another great senior class, but we still have some great players that I think will do great. We have a talented freshman class coming in, so that'll definitely help us out. Yeah, I feel good about it. I think we'll be okay.
Good. No, that's cool. So, let me recap this again as far as Caitlin's up to as far as what I have for stats here. Again, thank you, Coach. She scored her 1,000th point against Stoughton. She averaged just under 19 points. It's probably more than that now, right, Coach? If you put the win in the garden, all that together, she's probably
Yeah,
what, 20,
it's about
21,
19, right around 19. Yep.
right around 19. Okay. Scored 480 points and including 92 threes. You know what I thought that said for a second? I read it too fast. I thought it said 923.
Oh gosh.
I know, right? Wow. 92 threes. She had, again, 1,194 points total right now with 1 year remaining. That is incredible. So, Coach, as of right now, no, you never want to lose any great starters, but right now we lost 4. So we need a center. We already have a guard. We need another guard and 2 forwards. Have you already been working them into the mix as this season's been going, who you have in mind?
Yeah, I mean, with my system, I don't tend to play a lot of girls in the games, but we really pushed them hard in practice. And so the girls that maybe weren't the huge impact game players this year were getting the experience they really needed in the practice, going against the Shakira Katants and Yara and Abby and Lizzie. And so I think that's going to really bode well for next year. We have Hannah Blake, who was she's a forward/center that was really challenged with keeping Shakira guarded in practice and just seeing what she was able to do out there on the court in the games. And Morgan Silvestri and Ashlyn Cervais were guards that had to go every day against Caitlin and Lizzie Davis. So I think that's going to really help them really step into some significant roles next year. But probably more than anyone, we have Jordan Collins, who was our 6th man this year, and she's a 2 or a 3. She can actually play a forward as well. She can jump pretty high. So she got a significant amount of playing time this year. And so going into her senior year, it's going to be Caitlin was one of our captains as a junior, but she's also going to be captain for senior year, joined by Jordan Collins. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Jordan to really step into a bigger role as a starter next year and be more of a scorer as well as a defensive threat that she brings to our game.
Very cool. All right, we're going to step away. We're going to take our second break. You're listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We are highlighting the state champions from Foxboro girls basketball program. We'll be back with more right after this.
Our next story takes us to Attleboro.
And it's there where we find one man combining his love for both radio and sports to give children with autism the opportunity to shine one show at a time.
Who did you want to play this year and why? Doesn't mean if it's in the league, I'd like that to be something that totally irritated you.
For Dominic Damiano, sports and radio have always been his passion. So over a decade ago, he decided to start his own program. He called it 4 Deep Sports Talk.
Because when I was in the service station down south, they had unbelievable coverage of high school youth sports. So I wanted to do the same thing up here. And then a friend of mine that already had a radio show in Taunton, he recommended, why don't you do a sports show? I said, well, if I'm going to do a sports show, it's going to be based off kids, not pros, because I already have that.
And it soon became something more than just a place to highlight and cover sports teams in southeastern Massachusetts.
Produced a show with Carrie Quintel. She's a local lawyer in North Attleboro. She brought in a gentleman, John Raposo, who I don't know if he runs it, but he's one of the big wigs over there at Attleboro Enterprises, and he said, would you mind interviewing, helping kids that are into sports or just looking for that experience, what you offer kids, the high school and with the college interns, that experience? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. But the first thing I told him is I don't know nothing about kids with autism.
Alex Mayo has interned at 4 Deep Sports Talk for the past 9 months. He handles the technical side. His father, Bob, has watched him develop from when he first walked into the studio.
We're using cameras at the games and doing the broadcasting, the streaming live on Facebook and all that. He's going to have a lot of experience that he's going to be able to apply when he gets to school. He's probably going to have a leg up on a lot of the other kids in the program.
But Alex has gained more than a leg up.
He's working as part of a team, which Alex struggles with. For the first time, he had something that he could talk to with his sports-interested cousins. They were really interested in what he does behind the scenes. They all are sports fans, but they never had anybody in the family that was involved in broadcasting the sporting events. So now he's got something kind of in common with them and something he can talk to with them about that sports related.
Justin Ferrara is also a 4 Deep Sports Talk intern. He reads the scores.
Attleboro 58, Kingfield 54, born 85.
He's been with Damiano for over 2 years. Justin's father, Glenn, says it's given his son a voice, not only on the radio, but in life.
Certainly wants to expand beyond this, and when you talk about, possibly him having something that he can move towards from a career standpoint, this has really got him energized and excited and gives him a path to look forward to.
Justin's mother, Angela, says there's only one way to describe hearing her son on the radio.
It's amazing.
Damiano will get his next set of interns in the fall. Reporting for WEBN, I'm Angel Salcido.
Everyone have a fantastic weekend.
Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com, or on our Facebook page, 4 words, 4 Deep Sports Talk. We are highlighting the state champions of girls from Foxboro High School. Guys, are you still with me?
We're here.
Awesome. You are awesome. So, Coach, my question I had for you coming into this starting our second half of this hour, with this team coming into this season, was there any particular school you wanted to measure this program against coming into the season as you looked at your schedule?
I mean, by far the hardest competition we were going to face was Franklin, and they have Ellie Brigham, who's a 6'4" D1 commit for GW. So we knew we had our hands full with them, and really they hadn't had any competitive games all season. And even though the score doesn't really indicate how competitive the game was against them, with about 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, we were only down by 6. And so that's right there. And we were missing Jordan Collins, who was injured. So we were pretty much playing with 5 players. And so we hung right with them. And Caitlin had a fantastic game. Shakira, that was kind of her breakout game. And we were able to I think it opened everybody's eyes, including ours on the bench, that, we could hang with anyone. And there was really, and if we played our game, there weren't many teams that were going to be able to outbattle us.
How about you, Caitlin? What were you who were you thinking you wanted to measure that this team against coming into the schedule?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Coach Downs said. Franklin's always such a great rival, I guess. My freshman year, we actually beat them, which was super cool win. So yeah, they're always a team that I look forward to playing, and I think next year we'll definitely have a shot at beating them.
How about you personally, though? Was there any certain team or something you girls would talk about the locker room, maybe on a certain team you wanted to face this year?
We were looking forward to playing Bishop Fien this season. This is a non-league game, so they're obviously not in the hockey lock. So this was an exciting win for us. We knew they were very talented, and we were looking forward to playing them all week. Yeah, I just remember we were super excited after that game. We played great. I think we were down a couple points in that game, but we battled the whole time and pulled out a nice win.
Excellent. Coach, so if someone wanted to make this team, would come in, say they came from another program, either, and they moved to Foxboro, what do you try to distill in these players that want to try to make your ball team?
I actually kind of get embedded in the youth program, so I get to know the girls at a younger age, or at least know their work ethic and whatnot. And so the girls have to be able to. I actually really encourage them to play other sports. I'm not a fan of focusing on just one sport.
Yep.
But I think you can't ever set the ball down. And what makes Caitlin so incredible is that she doesn't do that. So she plays soccer, and she'll be out working in soccer at a practice or whatnot, and then I'll hear that she's out at Mass Premier Courts later on shooting. So she just really takes it upon herself to step up her game on her own time, and that's going to happen in the off season. So you got to be willing to put in that extra time on your own. And also, I love a fast game, so I like to press. I like to fast break. So kids have to be in good shape. So you can't arrive to our tryouts, and hope that a month in you're going to be able to get in shape and run the way that we need to run. You need to have already done your conditioning and just arrive to my tryouts in the best shape possible. So I guess it's just a matter of just putting the time on your own, just being very disciplined in that way, and then being able to put the work into making sure that you're in the best shape that you can be when you get here.
Now let's talk about your youth system before I start bugging Caitlin again.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about the youth program you're involved with in Foxborough? Because that's always a plus for any
Yeah.
going into high school to get the kids over. Well, the idea, the curve that's required to make your team.
Right. And I think, so we've kind of, hopefully we've developed kind of a mindset that we're not a dynasty, but like, I guess like Lainey Clement is over at all of our games. That's a dynasty. She's been there forever. But I think that I've been fortunate, this will be my 10th year as a varsity coach, that I've gotten to know the girls in the youth level, and they in turn have come to our clinics that we run for the high school, and then they're probably our biggest group of supporters at our games of the youth, the girls that play in the youth program at Foxboro. So we try to get familiar with them, my varsity girls, as well as the JV girls at some point. Just try to get their faces familiar with the youth. And so when we get the youth girls to come and watch our games, a lot of times I'll encourage them to, come up and ask me a couple questions about who they should be watching during the game, if they want to be a forward or they want to be a guard at the varsity level. And I'll give them a few minutes of, you need to watch what Caitlin Malika does in her ball handling when she's got someone really, defending her very well. Or you got to watch what Shakira does when she gets the ball on the block and her rebounding and how she uses her body. So I think it's just more a case of being visible, and we do run clinics with free clinics for the girls in the youth program so that they can come to the high school and kind of get the feel of being on our court with our girls and running through different drills that my varsity girls will put them through. And, in a lot of ways, the kids look up to the varsity players as if they're, somewhat celebrities. So,
Nice.
and that really just keeps them coming to our games, which I think is the most important, just having them witness firsthand the program that we're running at the high school, and it really makes them, I think, feel more inclined to put the extra work in so that they can be a Lady Warrior one day.
That's awesome. How big is the youth program though overall? Is it a good size from Foxborough is a decent sized town.
Yeah, I mean we're a small town. We're actually the smallest in the entire Hockomock League, and so it's not as big as a Mansfield or a Franklin by any means, but for what we have in our town, we do pretty well. I think the whole entire youth program, which is boys included, is a little over 600, and girls are a little under 50% of that group. But we definitely have a nice following. And then Caitlin had mentioned we have a talented incoming freshman class, and these girls, coming into the high school have been watching us at our games for now 3 or 4 years. So they'll go as a group and sit and watch us, and so you can see that that they're anticipating trying to get to play in our court.
That's awesome. All right, Caitlin. So, do you have a pen that you use when you sign autographs? Do you have a set flare pen you use so when the young kids go up to you and they have the big eyes as big as eggs and they're mesmerized seeing Caitlin? No? Is that a yes or a no? Not yet, right?
No.
Oh, that's funny. I'm surprised because 1,195 points, that's pretty impressive, young lady. That's really impressive.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So what drives you to love this game so much?
So basically, as more of like a little kid, I was always more into soccer, and I've traveled everywhere playing on like high club teams. But then in about like 5th or 6th grade, I started playing AAU, and I just fell in love with the game, and I really started focusing more on basketball instead of soccer. I still like soccer, but basketball is just such a great sport, and it's always been a dream of mine to play college basketball now, and yeah.
No, that's cool. So if you don't mind me asking, and if you don't, you can say pass. I hope you don't say pass. But as far as college offers, could we talk about that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
So how big's the list?
Well, this is such a big season for AAU and recruiting, so it kind of stinks that it's not happening right now. But I've been able to talk to a bunch of coaches on the phone and emails and video calls. So I'm still like through the recruiting process, so I'm obviously not making any decisions now, especially since it's kind of hard to see the schools and, get a feel for the area and stuff like that. So I'm still keeping all my options open.
Good for you. Good for you. And I know you have a great supporting staff with Coach Downs and her assistant coaches in the school and, and the counselors and stuff, and mom and dad and stuff like that. If it's okay, may I ask, do you have a preference? Let's say the top 3, or even better, do you have a top 5 that come to mind?
I really like Stonehill, Babson, Bowdoin, Colby, and St. A's.
Very cool. That's really cool. Now,
yeah, that's like the top 5.
that is really cool. I should have asked in alphabetical order so I could have followed along, but that's fine. So, wow, that's really good. That is really, really cool. Now, you said most of them were video calls, couple emails, right? Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, a lot of phone calls too.
Now, what are your actual dimensions as far as, if you don't mind me asking, height and weight?
I was about like 5'4", like 130.
5'4", 130?
Yep.
So, wow, Coach, she has a big heart, huh? Going against those big kids. Wow.
She plays much bigger than she is out there. Let's just say that.
Right? Exactly. That's what I was going to, that's exactly where I was going to go with next. I mean, that's, again, what you do on the court. I mean, I don't know. Coach knows this a lot better than I do as far as how these recruiters come up and, and approach you guys after games. Coach, how do you try to police that? Do you police that at all when they want her? I've seen, I've been to a couple, well, more than a couple of games, but, where the college rep comes over, hey, Coach, can we speak to Caitlin? And do you guys police that? Or
funny. So, yes, I mean, everyone, probably since her freshman year, people were asking me about her, but, now it's like she had mentioned right now, unfortunately, with what we're going through and no AAU programs, right now is the big recruiting season for kids as rising seniors through the AAU season. So I'm hoping they can get some tournaments in at some point this summer. But people have always asked me about her, and then a lot of them have thought she wasn't within their reach. I mean, anyone that gets her is going to be so lucky, because you will never see someone that works harder than she does and someone that holds himself more accountable than she does. So I think, whoever she ends up going with, and she's a smart kid too, so she's gonna do some great things in college.
Awesome. We are getting ready to take our last break, guys. This hour flew by. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here in the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and on our Facebook page, actually 4 words, 4 Deep Sports Talk. We are highlighting the state champions Division II girls basketball from Foxboro High School. We'll be back with more right after this.
When you need your business to reach your target audience, let us help you get back into the game.
We do college recruiting CDs covering Little League Baseball and high school sporting events. We get it done right.
Of the game, the Trojans 60.
Girls basketball is end. Savior 1-3 for Foley. Hits. Shoots, scores! McCormick scores again on the rebound. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here in the news station, 1320 AM WARA. As we finish up this hour, as we highlight Foxboro girls basketball, Coach Downs, and it's Caitlin Malika, right? Malika. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna blame stage fright because I've been off for 2 weeks. It's the only excuse I have. So, I'm sorry, Caitlin. You know what's even funnier? Huh?
It's okay.
No, it's not.
Do that all the time.
No, it's not. I'm a Damiano, so you can imagine how they butcher my last name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, if you, I wish we had calls. I mean, hopefully next year, Coach, we'll get you guys and we'll sit down like we did last time. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, definitely. Count us in.
Yep. Good. Awesome. So let's in a perfect world. First of all, before I get to that other question, my mind's everywhere. You can just imagine I'm Italian, but my hands are my hands are on the grasping the table, but I'm just trying to use my mouth. As far as your coaching staff, Coach, can we talk about your coaching staff?
Sure. I've had Brian Brown with me, I think, for the last probably 6 years. So he came from coaching actually boys, and a friend of mine back 6 years ago just recognized the fact I was looking for an assistant coach and had recommended him. So we got to know each other, and just every year we work very, very well together. So he's kind of an old school coach, similar to my type of style. And, we're tough on the girls, but hopefully in a way that they, are okay with in a somewhat kind way. But he knows the X's and O's very, very well of the game. And he's just someone I can, especially in a tough game just to have someone to bounce some ideas off of, or he'll throw some ideas in my direction, which is sometimes what you really need to hear. So he and I are close friends. And then I have Jamie Kelly as my JV coach. She had actually been on the 1995 Foxboro High School basketball team, and I was an assistant coach back then, way back then, and also the JV coach. And so she's someone I've known for a long, long time. And she just brings a lot of energy, and she also has played in college, so she has some great basketball background, and she also is pretty good about following with keeping the girls accountable in practice and knowing what kind of tempo we like to have at the high school. So she gets everybody ready for the varsity level for me.
Is that everybody?
And then my freshman coach is Haley Knowles. She was new this year. She actually volunteered for us a year ago and just kind of with the freshman team. And she's also someone who played in high school around here, but she's a teacher at the Fern Middle School for us, and she's also someone that really fit in well with our coaching staff. We like to have some fun too on the sidelines and whatnot. And she was a great freshman coach in that she got the girls interested in the sport. Maybe not going to be playing varsity one day, but enough so that they enjoyed themselves their freshman year and they all improved.
Great. Okay, Caitlin, now it's your turn. You ready?
Yep.
Well, I need your help going over that roster, and I know Coach would help you out too, but I want to make sure we get a shout out to all your teammates. Could you help me go over the roster? Could you mention some of the girls on the team?
Yeah, so obviously we're talking about our seniors. So Shakira, Yara, Abby, Liz, Jody, Julia Kelly, and Jamie DeValis. Those are all the seniors. And then for juniors, Jordan Collins, Ashlyn Surveys, Morgan Sylvester, Nicole Terriel. She kind of got moved up during the season. And then for sophomores, it was Hannah Blake. And then I think I got everyone, right?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
She did good. So we can give her an A. We can give her an A.
She always does.
I know it now. Speaking that I gave her a grade. What's your GPA, Caitlin? If you don't mind me asking you.
It's like a 4.25 around there.
That's all.
Yeah, she's just a little bit smart.
Yeah, a little bit, right? And she's an athlete. Jeepers, wow. Well, that's so cool. And she sounds like a very well-respected, well-versed young lady. There's an all-around nice person. It was my pleasure to meet you. Coach, so I know this is a reach, and we're not starting the season for a while, but what are you hearing so far through the school? I know the poor AD must have his pulling out his hair, and all the ADs are probably pulling out their hair, seeing what the restrictions are going to be. You know, of course, there's going to be something. There's not going to be none. What are you hearing about the basketball so far? Anything? Is it real too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. I think what's going to be interesting is to see what they do with the fall sports, and then maybe, just taking the good things that worked positively with the fall and moving it into the winter. Yeah, it's just going to be a kind of wait and see thing, and hopefully these kids can get out there and play their fall sports, because I think it's important for them to get back out, especially the kids who have missed out on the spring sports and now heading into their senior years like Caitlin. It's very important to them to just get out there and start playing sports again.
Now, what about the youth league that you help run, or you do run over at Foxboro? That's probably starts before. Does it start before the high school season?
It does, yep. So they typically will have their tryouts the end of September for the travel teams. And again, I think it's just a wait and see thing. I have heard that Mass Premier's courts, as soon as they're given the green light, they're hoping that we can at least have some semblance of a summer league for basketball. So I think that will be important to see what the restrictions are for places like that, as to who's allowed in the stands and what all the new rules that all these kids and the coaches are going to have to learn to have this be the new norm. But I think I think we should be okay, and I'm hoping that we're not. It doesn't change the sport all that much. So it's just a lot of wait and see.
Now, when would it start? When would the other season start for the kids? August?
Summer league, usually it starts at June. So
wow.
Now they've pushed it back to hopefully getting kicked off in July. And I know my team is one of over 100 boys and girls teams that are signed up to compete in the Wally Seaver tournament to benefit ALS, and that's held at Mass Premier Court the weekend of July 25th. And so they're still on. So they're, keeping their fingers crossed that that tournament will kick off. And so I think that's really, if we can get them just playing together in the court in a facility, and then just seeing what happens, after that.
Now, what about, do we do any fundraisers for the girls basketball program? Do we do a pizza party, raffle, anything we want to promote?
We don't have anything for next year right now. I tend to like the girls to work to get their money instead of going to mom and dad and asking for a check.
Yeah.
So my girls will do a lot of, we did the cleanup for Founders Day in Foxboro for the last 5 years, and we get paid to do that, and unfortunately that was canceled this year. So that's money we're going to have to make up somewhere. But they also run clinics for the youth program. We do one free one, but then we do, over Christmas break, the girls will do some one-on-one lessons for the youth, and we charge money for those, and so it's a way for them to earn the money instead of just getting mom and dad to give them a check to hand over.
Here you go. So, Caitlin, I'm going to suggest a silver Sharpie. So when you sign your signature and you work on your new signature, it's a little, shows off a little bit more. I think that would be cool. Unless you like the color pink, you can always go with pink. That would work.
Yeah.
But Coach, it was great to talk to you. Caitlin, it was really nice to meet you. I wish you guys the best. I hope you get your season in this year. You will see me floating around in the Foxboro gym, so just thought I'd warn you in advance.
Okay.
And
Thanks for having us.
oh, you're welcome. Again, I wish you guys the best. I hope you get in. I just hope this thing blows over. We get control of it, and we can go back to some type of normal, a safe normal, and move on from there.
Yep, absolutely.
Caitlin, I wish you the best. I'll see you on the court, young lady.
Thank you.
You're very
All
welcome.
right, thanks for having us, Dominic.
You're welcome, Coach. Take care.
All right, you too.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. And that is Coach Downs and Caitlin Malika from, I think I got her name right, from Foxboro girls basketball team, the 2000 Division II state champions. If you want to call them co-champions, call them co-champions. They beat Reading to actually earn that title before this pandemic, came about. If you want to call in, we are 508-222-1320 next week. I'm looking to have Coach Bob Rogers call in with Mr. Kelly. Coach Bob Rogers was voted our boys basketball coach of the year. And, of course, Mr. Kelly's voted our boys basketball player of the year. So we're hoping to get them on and get that squared away. But we do have some time, and if you want to call in, 508-222-1320. I believe I dropped the call. I did. And that's basically it for hopefully sooner rather than later we'll finally get back to some type of norm, like I just mentioned to Coach Downs and Caitlin, that, you know, start getting the guys back in the studio, get our guests back in there, but baby steps, as everybody tells me, and I think that's a smart way to do it. Then go crazy, and this pandemic could turn into something even more crazy, especially for the youth sports, but I want to make sure we got in all the guys in there and the girls and all the state sectional champions, state champions from the South, to give them their well-deserved kudos. If you want to reach out to us, if you have a program, a town or high school or youth group you want us to cover, it's all one word, FOUR, deep, DEEP, sports talk at yahoo.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd like to thank all. We got about 55 people that checked in on our Facebook page. We want to thank them for checking it out. This interview will be on Foxboro Access TV once we get it edited for Access TV. And, of course, in the other 30-plus youth towns and cities we send the show to. And we want to thank all those guys for supporting us and getting the show out there in this crazy pandemic that's going on. Again, for everybody at 4 Deep Sports Talk, we will catch you next time. Everybody have a fantastic weekend.
This 4 Deep Sports Talk broadcast is brought to you by Physical Therapy U. For more information, they can be reached at ptuclinic.com. Adria's Restaurant Banquet Facility of East Bridgewater. Their website is adriasrestaurant.net for all of your restaurant and banquet needs. Megan Chase of Kim West Real Estate. Her contact information is 774-240-7707 for all of your real estate needs.
This has been a presentation of 4 Deep Sports Talk, where high school and youth athletics come first.